Incorporated.
It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Professional with Coldwell Banker, specializing in the sale of bank-owned properties, and I've sold about 1,300 properties in 7 years, and I got a lot of great relationships. So if you're a real estate investor or just looking to buy a home, head over to TampaBayRadio.com. Joined in studio by my lovely co-host, Stella Giudicelli, also with Coldwell Banker. Stella, how are you doing today?
I'm very good. I'm very excited to start the day with you and our listeners today. What a great day.
Great day and a great show and a great message being promoted out to the Tampa Bay community.
Right.
And also want to take a moment to mention you can watch us here live in studio and take a look at the lovely Stella Giudicelli. Just head over to TampaBayRadio.com and hit the show info tab, and then there is the live stream there where you can watch us. And we're also streamed over at WeBeamTV.com as well. Stella, how was your weekend? Did you attend Gasparilla?
Yes, I did. Well, as you know, Jamie, I had a very entertainment-heavy weekend because it was my birthday weekend.
Yes, you had quite a birthday party last week. Very impressed.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah, and I know you got a heck of a bill there. You kept an open bar. You forgot to tell the bartenders to close that tab out, and I know you got hit with a
I didn't forget. You know, you get in the mood and your friends and clients are here, and it was really about treating the people that I love, so it was actually very intentional.
Yeah, it was very well done, and a great party, and we had a guest who's going to be coming on the show that won a promotion at your birthday party as well, so looking forward to that.
Anthony Sullivan, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that'll be coming up as well. So
yeah, and Jamie, thank you for saving my party.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, your party, 10 minutes to start, and you're still in the office working. I'm getting ready to drive to your party, and you tell me to go pick up your dress at some place. You're not even ready, so you come to
left my dress in the store, and I had no dress to go to my party.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to your party, and here you come here, go pick up my dress. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, what's wrong with the one you're wearing? I said, you look perfectly fine.
You don't understand women, Jamie. Come on.
I was like, you look fine. You were in a business professional outfit, and I was like, just wear the one you got. And you're like, no.
My dress was awesome.
No, it was a very good dress.
The theme was Parrot French extravaganza, and I had like the perfect dress.
Oh, it was a very cute dress. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
But, I mean, 10 minutes to your party and you're telling somebody to go pick up your dress. I don't know. I'm the type of guy, I get to a place on Lombardi time, and I stress this all the time. 10 minutes early or you're late.
Well, I'm the type of star, so I can't show up on time, and I have to be a little late, and I have to have people wait for me.
No, I'm used to that. I dated a girl for 12 years who couldn't get to anything on time. That was one of the things we argued about all the time. I wanted to get there 10 minutes late. She wanted to get there an hour later. So I'm used to that. But anyways, I always stress the importance of getting to places on Lombardi time, the namesake of the Super Bowl trophy, of which we'll be talking about here in just a moment as well. But 10 minutes early to the event or you're late.
I stress the importance of showing to an event with a perfect, amazing dress.
Yes, you did. Mm-hmm. No, you definitely made the the fashionable late appearance, as they call it.
Exactly.
And everything. I'm the guy who's always there early. I want to make sure because something goes wrong.
Which helped me a lot. Which was perfect because you arrived early and I could send you to get my dress.
Yeah,
so it works well.
That was a great event. Got two great guests in studio today. I'm going to go and bring in the first here, Topher Morrison, who's the managing director of Key Person of Influence, which is a growth accelerator firm that has worked with over 1,000 companies globally to help them dominate their market share. He's featured in the award-winning documentaries The Compass and Riches, and his first book, Stop Chasing Perfect and Settle for Excellence, has been hailed as the self-help book for people who are sick of self-help books. Topher, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How was that Super Bowl?
Let's talk about something else.
Come on, man. It was a great game, and unfortunately, it just that last play call just kind of sunk the sea.
Who passes on the 5-yard line? What was up with that?
Yeah, especially when you got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. I'm sure Pete Carroll's going to be taking a drilling for weeks to come on that play call.
Yeah, he will. I'm going to take a beating when I get to the office today because one of my coworkers, Mandy, is a huge Patriots fan. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking in the grand scheme of things, it's probably better that they won because she's probably a far better winner than she is a loser. Mm-hmm. So at least I don't have to take a whining, pouting coworker today, unless she counts me being the whining, pouting coworker.
Yeah. Well, let me also go and bring in our second guest. We'll have a group conversation here. I got an amazing guest here, Ron Klein, whose innovative ideas, either in an invention or simple solution to a problem, have been revolutionary or have resulted in monumental changes. Ron invented the magnetic strip of credit card validity checking system and is the developer of computerized systems for the real estate multiple listing services, as well as voice response for the banking industry. He developed the bond quotation and trade information systems for the New York Stock Exchange and was the founder and CEO of his public company, Technotrend, as well as CEO of General Associates. Ron, thank you for coming in the studio today.
Jamie, thank you so much for having me. It's absolutely a pleasure.
And I tell you what, you got a heck of a resume. I mean, your inventions are, monumental. I mean, the credit card magnetic strip. I mean, tell me a little bit about this. How did you come up with this?
Well, I don't really classify myself as an inventor. I classify myself as an innovator.
Okay.
Inventors sit in a think tank all day and hold their heads. I look to provide a benefit. I never invent or I never sell ideas. I provide benefits.
Okay, but tell me about how the magnetic strips on the back of credit cards work. How did you come up with that idea?
Well, that's probably one of the simplest and easiest challenges I've ever had in my career. I have a philosophy of simplicity. I look at every problem as a challenge, and if you look at something as a challenge and you solve that challenge, there's a gift behind that challenge. There's an option. There's an absolute benefit. And I look at the challenge as what's the given that I'm working with, what's the solution I'm looking for, and everything else in between is just the minutia. It's just the journey, and there's hurdles, and there's all kinds of stumbling blocks. But we handle that with stickability and flexibility.
Now, when was the credit card magnetic strip invented? How far back has this gone? Because to me, I think it was the 90s or
no,
80s.
I started it in 1964.
64, that went back that far. Okay.
Finished my development in 1966, and the patent was actually awarded in 1969. But what it was is it was actually the first point-of-sale device and the magnetic strip. And one of the largest department stores came to me and said, we have a problem. We provide negative account numbers to the merchants every month, and it's a long book of listed numbers. And the merchant has to look that up, and if you're not in that book, then you're good to go. So it was very, very cumbersome for the merchant. And I figured, well, that's an easy challenge to take care of. The given is take those negative account numbers and put it into some kind of memory system. Mm-hmm. And then give the merchant a little keypad, and he inquires in that memory system. If the number's not there, the customer was good to go. And right around that time, here came the innovation. Reel-to-reel tape recorders came out. And I figured, I got a great idea. Let's put a little bit of smarts in that little piece of plastic. Because the piece of plastic was just the embossed credit card number and the person's name. And I said, if I take a little piece of that tape, cut it and record the account number on it, and paste it on the back of the credit card, and build a little device that mimics the credit card, mimics the reader, mm-hmm. and make you the motor. Okay? In other words, we replace the motor with you by swiping it through.
Okay.
And that's how simple it was. And that was the invention and the first magnetic strip on the credit card.
Was this done in conjunction with Visa or MasterCard, or did they come in to you after the fact?
Oh, no. Actually, American Express adapted it for credit cards officially in 1970.
Okay, so the idea wasn't necessarily for credit card use. It was just for the merchant services?
Well, I developed it for both merchant services and lots of other things. In other words, to transmit intelligence through mimicking the card reader.
Very nice. Well, you're definitely a key person of influence, which is the company that Topher is a managing director for. And Topher, how do you define somebody who is a key person of influence?
Before I say that, am I the only one who feels even more dumb when Ron talks? And he goes, "Oh, it was really just a simple thing. It wasn't a big deal." I'm like, "That's simple?
You should have been here.
Simple is how I get the milk into my cereal in the morning. This guy's inventing credit cards."
You should have been here before the show. He was sitting here talking with the station director about ground waves and wattages, and I was like, I don't even know what he's talking about.
Topher, if you were there, you would have done the same thing.
Right.
It's just, and if I didn't know how to implement it because of my engineering background, I would have gone to somebody that could take care of it. But the interesting thing is, why has it survived this long? And a lot of people don't have the answer, and they say, well, it's simple, it's this, it's that. It survived all these years because it doesn't require energy.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't require energy, it doesn't radiate. And if it doesn't radiate, the fraud is not at the point of sale. The fraud is with the man in the middle and at the server end. And now, unfortunately, with the new chip, we've put the problem back at the point of sale. But I've got a solution for it.
We'll talk more about that in a minute. But I want to
when I'm agreeing with him, by the way, I just look like Joey on Friends, not understanding a joke. I just sit here and kind of agree with him, like, absolutely. Exactly. That's the exact same thing I was thinking of.
Right.
But yeah, Topher, let's go into a little bit more about your company and defining somebody who is a key person of influence, just like Ron is.
Yeah, for us, a key person of influence is exactly what it sounds. It's the person who doesn't have to pick up the phone to meet people because people are picking up the phone to meet them. They're the ones that can stand in one place, everybody comes to them, and they don't have to chase the business. In fact, we look at it as a point of curation versus chasing. So key people of influence get to curate their opportunities like the curator of a museum does, where if you're not a key person of influence, you have to go chase the business down. So we're all about helping our clients to become key people of influence, knowing that, frankly, in any industry, and this holds true in any market, in any industry, the lion's share of business always goes to the most influential. But how many entrepreneurs spend any time at all, if any, doing anything to become more influential? They actually just spend all their time trying to be more skilled in their profession.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And right now I'm actually going through the program, and I want to take a moment to give a shout out to his program, the Key Person of Influence. And it's an amazing program. You're going to meet an amazing group of professionals. You're going to write a book. You're going to develop productization, and it's really going to set you apart from your competition.
Yeah, you're working on your book right now.
Absolutely, yes.
It's done in 11 weeks.
Yep. Secrets of the REO Agent, of which I said at the top of the hour, I'm also a real estate professional, bank-owned specialist, sold 1,300 properties in 7 years. So I got a lot of insider secrets to, how the business works, both from listing, selling, and buying from the investor perspective. So yeah, I've got half the book written. I got about another half to go. But your program is what has motivated me to get that book out.
Thanks, brother. Well, it's you know what? I wish I could take credit for it. It's nothing I've invented. Unfortunately, I'm just the guy that sits around great people who invent things, right? Daniel Priestley out of London. He's an Australian, lives in London. He's the guy who came up with the philosophy in the system. He's the author of the book of the same name, Key Person of Influence. Fantastic read for anybody out there who is looking for a good read on entrepreneurials, and definitely check out Key Person of Influence.
Sounds like a plan. Got to take a quick break here, but if you're just tuning in here, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. We'll be back in a moment.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. iMortgage Tampa appreciates and supports all veterans and their families. And as a thank you for your service, they have some unique products specifically for veterans. These programs include 100% cash out loans, renovation loans, and also a VA interest rate reduction loan. Please call them today at 813-523-4908. Again, that's 813-523-4908. Or online, search for iMortgage Tampa. iMortgage NMLS 174457. Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. Programs and eligibility subject to programs and guidelines.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
From the Bright House Network's traffic center, some slow traffic this morning. Northbound 275 from Interstate 375 to about Gandy Boulevard through St. Petersburg due to a wreck at Gandy Boulevard. Also seeing a problem northbound along I-75 between the Selman Crosstown Expressway and State Road 60 due to a wreck. And southbound 19 near Northeast Coachman Road in Clearwater, reported accident blocking up your right lane of traffic. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
There could be some scattered showers throughout the morning. Then we'll see a 50% chance of rain this afternoon and a high of 70 tonight. Windy and clearing, getting down to a low of 46. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy and breezy with a high of 65.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello again, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in here to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Take a moment to direct you over to my website, tampabayradio.com, where you can catch past shows of That Business Show. Although this is the inaugural show, so you're going to be listening to prior shows of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show, and this show, again, it was going to be on Mondays through Fridays at 8 a.m. here on 1250 Wins WHNZ, and you can also catch me live on the internet via my website, tampabayradio.com. Just head over to the show info tab, and there's a drop down for the live stream, so you can see all of us in the studio as well. Want to go back over to Ron. We're talking about the invention of the credit card magnetic strip, and so tell me a little bit more about the new chip that is being used in credit cards.
Well, the new chip came out. It started in Europe, and what they felt was that they needed more information on the card. Of course, I felt that if they just added a second strip, that would have taken care of it. But they developed a little chip, electronic chip that they mount on the card, along with a lot of other data. And that chip, of course, requires power. And if it requires power, that means it can radiate. And if it can radiate, someone can walk up behind you or just scan your purse or your back pocket and with your wallet and actually steal that information. So that's kind of dangerous. And I think what the credit card companies have to do now is make available and explain to the user and the consumer to put it into a shielded pocket. And they actually, if you wrap the card in tinfoil, that will keep it from being scanned.
Yeah, I'm seeing some products come out on the market that are catering to this very problem, some type of shield for these credit cards, because I've seen this in the news quite frequently now.
However, that's going to require a new type of reader at the point of sale. So that's going to be an expense. And that reader, along with the card now, can develop a lot of fraud because people can actually pick the signal up. I have a new solution for that, and I'm working with some people to be able to totally disable the card when it's not being used. So it's only enabled when the card is used, and when it's not being used, it's almost like putting a key in your ignition in the car and turning it off.
Right, so you just can't stop, working. I mean, I think you said you failed at retirement 3 times now, correct?
3 times. The first time I tried it at age 34, and that didn't work. I had a public company, and I had
34.
34, and I figured, this is wonderful. I'm busy working 18 hours a day. It's time to retire. So I sold it to a major insurance company, and that lasted for about 3 months, because how much can you fish on your boat? Right?
I'm thinking quite a lot. Yeah. Now I'm feeling dumb and lazy.
Well, then I got involved with the New York Stock Exchange after I developed voice response for the banking industry and MLS for real estate. The company grew quite astronomically large, and I sold it off and then formed another company and got involved with the New York Stock Exchange, automating the exchange. And I spent about a quarter of a century there, and that that was a challenge. That was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
tell me a little bit more about the automation of the New York Stock Exchange. How did that even come about?
Well, not to take anything away from the exchange, but I got involved in the mid-'70s, and I looked at the exchange as an institution that functioned pretty much on inertia. They were still using little pieces of paper and card sensors and little readers, and I figured, geez, what an opportunity. Because at that time they called me, I had a lot of teletype machines that I had acquired and bought out Western Union when they diversified themselves of being in the teletype business and went into the satellite business. That's another story. But I had a lot of these teletypes, and the New York Stock Exchange was expanding their trading floor, and they needed me. So I gave them a real good deal, gave them a full payout lease, and started a maintenance company at the exchange. While I was there, what opportunity. I mean, I just saw an organization that needed tremendous automation. Mm-hmm. And I developed program trading and a lot of other functions. And then I noticed in 1983 that they never had an automated system for trading corporate listed bonds. They could trade stocks and equity, but they never had the system for corporate listeds. That was an auction crowd. And I came up with the idea of building a little filter box, putting it on every trader's desk throughout Wall Street, and giving him a little video tube, and he could trade right at his desk. Well, the exchange felt that they were doing the old style for over 200 years. Why did they need the new style? And I said, well, if I can do it, will you give me an exclusive license to disseminate corporate listed bonds? And they said, sure, it'll never work. Well, I built the box, did it, and it worked beautiful. And I figured, okay, now how do I sell it?
Why do I feel he's about to say, it was simple, it was easy?
It's always simple. Yeah.
Well, it was, the principle was, and I figured, how do I sell it? Well, the bond traders, if you didn't call in the morning and pick up the phone and say you were buying or selling a bond, they would hang up on you. So I befriended one of the leading bond managers on Wall Street, gave him the system, and I said, just use it for 30 days. Well, he was topping everybody's bond. So all of the traders start calling in and saying, hey, Joe, how are you doing this? He says, oh, you need one of those little Ron Klein boxes and, from that company, General Associates. My phone rang off the hook. And within 60 days, I had almost 100% of the bond market on Wall Street.
Wow. Is that something, incredible. Is that technology still in use today, or what became of the company?
Well, it's still in use today. It was in use for over a quarter of a century. The interesting thing was I figured, okay, now how do I was busy delivering these boxes, a little filter box so they can look at their bonds, and the video terminal. And I figured, okay, now what do I do? So I charged every trader an astronomical sum to join my club. I won't mention any numbers. And I had every trader join. They said, well, we can make that in a week. And then I said, okay, now I'm going to sell you this little box. And they said, oh, well, no, we don't buy anything. Well, the box cost me like $100 to build. And I figured, well, strategically, how much do you charge? So I pinned the number $300 a month on it. And they said, fantastic. But unfortunately, it was only in existence for a quarter of a century. So that generated some dollars.
Wow, very, very impressive. And your background is in electrical engineering and from Temple University, correct?
Yes, it was engineering, and I worked my way up to senior development engineer and then chief engineer. And then I realized I was really an entrepreneur, and I could communicate with the consumer, the customer, and the engineering department. So that's when I became more of an analyst and with developing engineers to work for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite impressive. Did a lot of the stuff that you eventually learned, did you learn it on the job? I know you also developed the power control system for the Philadelphia Electric Company. Is that kind of where you began to kind of see these visions?
That's where I began. I learned something new every day, okay? Every day.
Okay. Well, it's very, very impressive. So tell us a little bit more about General Associates. We didn't elaborate. So Technitrend was the company that did the New York Stock Exchange and that ticker and everything?
No, that was General Associates.
That was General Associates. Yeah. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about what Technitrend was.
Okay. Technitrend was the MLS when I developed MLS and voice response for banking. And I took the company public, and it grew very, very large. And that's what I sold it off to a very large insurance company. And that was my first retirement at age 34. And then I discovered after 3 months, I watched everybody go to work, and that was that was very depressing. So I figured I have to go back to work.
Okay, so
I formed General Associates.
Okay, and you sold that off to what? Just local MLSs, and then they kind of took it from there. Because I remember the old MLSs was just a book where you ripped a page out of the book, and then there was no software or anything.
Right. Well, the interesting thing with General Associates was that I decided I didn't want a lot of employees again, and I figured I wanted to build something that would generate revenue constantly. So that's why I named it General Associates. I really didn't have a strategic plan as to what I was going to do. And I was calling on a customer to sell some communication equipment, and I saw a bid sheet from Western Union on this gentleman's desk. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, we don't use that anymore. We're not interested in the teletypes because it was a large press company.
Well, hold that point there. We're going to take a quick bottom of the hour break, but we'll continue the story on the invention of the MLS software, which is revolutionary in my business and real estate. So if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. We'll be back in a moment.
And now, for Geico's stuff found in your car, we go inside your backseat vent.
Hello, the French fry by the pink crayon. Last week I was king of the car seat, and then your kid's favorite song stopped, and boom, meltdown. Remember, it took you 15 minutes to clean up. 15 minutes you could have spent switching to Geico and saving hundreds of dollars on your car insurance. Please find us. If it gets any hotter, Pinky over there's going to have a different kind of meltdown.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com today.
Inventory isn't about products, kid. It's about money. Product sitting on shelves is money sitting on shelves. I hate overstock. I hate understock. I hate wasting time. I hate wasting money. That's why I love Grainger. Grainger KeepStock Solutions help us manage our facility's inventory, so we have exactly what we need when we need it. No more, no less. It's inventory management my way. Get it? Got it? Good. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock for more information. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Each franchise independently owned and operated. Offer good on selected window treatments for a limited time. Minimum purchase required. Ask for details.
Hello? Hi, Stacy. It's your sister. Listen, could you, trade houses with me? What? Yeah, trade houses. Jim wants to have his new boss over, and your house is so beautiful with those new drapes from Budget Blinds, and we really want to impress him.
Call Budget Blinds and have your own house done. Right now, you can save hundreds of dollars on your custom window coverings.
Wow. Do they still give you a free design consultation and measure and install the window treatments for you?
Yes, and they give you their no questions asked warranty.
Gotta go. I'm calling now.
It's the Budget Blinds Window Fashions Blowout Sale event with very stylish savings. Your style consultant will tell you how you can save hundreds of dollars on a huge selection of window coverings. Call 1-800-260-8939 now to get a free in-home design consultation and save. Hurry, sale ends soon. Call 1-800-260-8939. That's 1-800-260-8939.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, westbound I-4 between the Selman Connector to about 22nd Street, you're going to see some stop-and-go traffic due to an accident blocking up your right lane just past 21st Street exit. Also, northbound 275 from Interstate 175 to about Gandy Boulevard, stop-and-go traffic through St. Petersburg due to a wreck at Gandy. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
Winds Weather Center says afternoon scattered thunderstorms today. High temperature 77, 44 for tonight's low, and then back up to 68 for the high tomorrow. Clouds mixed with sunshine. Let's talk nutrition. Weekday mornings at 9 on 1250 Winds WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. In studio today, we're talking with Ron Klein, a very well-accomplished, I don't want to call him an inventor, but that seems to be the focus of the conversation today. and also Topher Morrison, Managing Director of Key Person of Influence. And heading into the break, we were talking about Ron's development of the MLS, which is the multiple listing service for people that don't like people who speak with acronyms. But the multiple listing service, in short, is what real estate agents utilize to find properties. Whenever you list a home with a real estate agent, the real estate agent puts it into the multiple listing service, and that information is then disseminated to all the different websites, and that's what you see on the internet. But the multiple listing service is basically the main database of real estate listings that realtors use to help you find a property as well as to help sell your properties. So continue on about what we were talking about before the break with the multiple listing service.
Okay, Jamie, the multiple listing service I actually developed in 1967. And I appeared to be doing something simple in my mind. I figured every time a realtor has a listing, why don't we just put it into a central location and be able to query that central location and determine if somebody wants to move from point A to point B. When they get to point B, that realtor will have all the information. So that's what we did, and I came up with little terminals to aid the realtor. And right around that time, touch-tone telephones were coming out. And I figured, what a great idea to use the touch-tone telephone as a device to input coded information. We put that coded information into the MLS computer, which was centrally located in Chicago, and then a realtor can query that and get that information. And then I built a little device, a little suitcase device that a realtor could walk around with, which was acoustically coupled. In other words, they had dial phones then. They didn't have the touch-tone phones. They were just coming out. So you could take the telephone, put it into this little padded acoustic device, and then I used thumb wheel switches to set up parameters of how many bedrooms do you want? Do you want to be close to a school? Do you want to have a swimming pool? And so on and so forth. So somebody could just set those thumb wheel switches up, push the button, and it would convert that data into touch-tone signals, send it to the computer, and now you had the data ready to go. Then I came up with teletype machines that were printing machines. This was before email, and we put touch-tone pads on those machines so that the realtor could make an inquiry and say, I'm here in LA or I'm here in New York, and I'm looking for this kind of a property, and it would print it out. So that was the start of MLS, and of course it grew astronomically since that time. But it started in 1967.
Wow, very impressive.
So Ron, this is such an amazing service as a real estate agent, and we could take it for granted and think that, now it's normal to use the MLS. Well, as you can hear, I'm from France, and that's not a system that you use in Europe. And pretty much the way it works there is when you are a consumer and you are looking into buying a property, what you need to do is you need to go physically into real estate premises, and one listing is going to be advertised in one premises. So you have to walk around, use as many as you can to really get to know what the inventory is, and they are not using anything online to share the listings. It's just actually like such an amazing invention that is used only here. Isn't this unbelievable?
Ron will be flying to Europe now with this information.
Yeah, go ahead. Here you go.
Somebody send me a ticket. I'll be right there.
Let's do this. Let's do this together now.
I want to go ahead and bring back in Topher here. He is also the author of Collaboration Economy. Tell us a little bit more about this book and the theory behind this book.
Well, I got to tell you something. I don't want to upstage Ron, all right? But the first time I discovered that there was tones on a phone, I thought if I work really hard, I could learn how to play Yankee Doodle Dandy on it. So I don't want to upstage or anything, but I became quite the proficient musician on the telephone. What was the question?
You're the author of Collaboration Economy.
I wrote a
I'll give
book.
you a chance to plug your book here. So let's talk about the book now.
Well, the book is all about... It's called Collaboration Economy, and it's all about the concept that we are entering a completely new era of business. And if you look at the history of entrepreneurship, one thing you'll discover is that the most successful entrepreneurs were always revolved around the age in which they existed in, because we as a society, we value the age that we're in. So in the agricultural age, we valued ag. In the industrial age, we valued industry. In the information age, we valued industry. And we would pay very well for those things. So who were the best entrepreneurs in the agricultural age? The farmers, the oxen breeders, the saddle makers, those type of people. All of a sudden, we had the Industrial Revolution, and it came out with the manufacturing age. When the manufacturing age came out, all of a sudden, the farmers that kept trying to just simply produce ag, they went broke. But the farmers that looked at ag as, hey, how do we turn this into an industry? And they automated their systems, they continued to do real well. And in the manufacturing age, of course, cities were built around manufacturing, like Detroit, and we valued that, so we would pay really good money for manufacturing. In 1969, when the computer revolution came out, all of a sudden we stopped valuing manufacturing, we started valuing information. So the manufacturing companies that started looking at their spreadsheets and their data to determine where their margins were at, they continued to succeed. But the manufacturing plants who continued to just manufacture the good old-fashioned way, kind of like the farmers farmed the good old-fashioned way, they struggled. Well, in 2010, we had the entrepreneurial revolution. And now we're seeing the end of the information age. Nobody values information anymore. Look at the multiple listing service, right? That was such an innovative thing back in
1967.
1969, information age account. He invented that thing right at the peak, right, or right at as the wave was starting to build up. And it was like a coveted bit of information for you real estate agents, right? When you had that information, nobody else had it. But now in the collaboration age, everybody has access to the MLS. So now it's no longer a coveted value. It's still a great tool, but the real estate agents can no longer use that as an asset, saying, here's why you have to hire me. I have access to this, something that you don't have, because now everybody has it in the collaboration age. So businesses that start to focus around collaboration in this new age are going to succeed far better than information-based businesses that are continuing to doing business the old-fashioned way. Great example of this, my favorite example would be the cab industry. The cab industry is an information-based business. I know the shortest route from point A to point B. I also happen to know the longest route from point A to point B, which looks like the shortest route, so I can screw you and just get a big fare, right? And cab industry has done very, very well in the information age. Well, now all of a sudden in the collaboration age, we have apps like Uber and Lyft coming out, where it's a collaborative process between passenger and driver. You don't expect that the driver knows the shortest route possible. Frankly, you don't care, because we all have phones. Mm-hmm. They all got GPS, so we can give them the directions and then collaboratively work together. And Uber and Lyft are kicking the cab industry's ass. And the reason for that is because the cab industry is sitting there going, oh, don't forget about us. We're important. No, you're not. Innovate or die. Am I right, Ron?
Yeah, exactly. I feel there's three words that really define the true entrepreneur today. And it's smart, daring, and different. Follow those principles and follow those three words and live by that, and you'll be successful.
Well
smart,
said. Yeah.
daring, and different.
Now, Topher, you've also got Ron featured in an event this week with Key Person Influence. Tell the audience about that.
Tomorrow night at Key Person of Influence, we do a thing every Tuesday evening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have a business accelerator series. It's always a small crowd, high-quality, high-caliber business owners meeting. And what we do is we try to find entrepreneurs in the local area who are crushing it in one of our 5 specialty areas for soft skills that we talk about. And in one of those is productization. And so what better guest to have than Ron Klein, who's a genius at productizing new systems and new technology. So we're going to have him come out and talk about how do you stay innovative? How do you stay on that cutting edge? How do you stay one step ahead of your competition by innovating so that you don't become the way of the dodo bird or the old-fashioned farmer or the old-fashioned manufacturer or the cab industry?
Now, you also were featured in award-winning documentaries The Compass and Riches, and you also wrote another book, Stop Chasing Perfection and Settle for Excellence. Tell me a little bit about that book.
That was the first book I wrote, and the reason I called it Stop Chasing Perfection and Settle for Excellence was because it took me nearly 10 years to write. Every time I'd edit it, I go, it's not perfect, it's not perfect. I kept doing edit after edit after edit. And finally, I just said, screw it. You know what? I've written 3 books now. If I would have just printed the first one, I could have done a second edition and a third edition and a fourth. So Cal came out to the notion that, as entrepreneurs, perfection is possibly one of the biggest killers of success, because if you wait to perfect your product or your service as an entrepreneur, about the only thing I can guarantee you is somebody's going to come out with an inferior product because they didn't wait for perfection. They got it to market faster, sooner, easier, and better, and all of a sudden they're winning market share and you're not. So, my theory is that perfection sucks.
Yeah, I see that all the time with people when they're building a business. They're trying to get every little minute detail in order before they're actually making any money. Just go do it.
Yeah.
You're going to find the mistakes, and you're going to save a lot of money by working those out in process instead of trying to perfect the business. And it's a point.
Listen, if we look at IBM and Apple computers, you look at Microsoft, if those guys would have waited to release their products until you were perfect, we wouldn't even have those products now, right? Well, let me ask you this. When you invented the MLS, I'm assuming that you didn't wait until it was perfect.
Exactly.
You got it out, right?
No. You know, most people start in the middle instead of starting in the beginning and analyzing what are you working with, what's the given, and what's the end goal that you're looking for, what's the benefit.
Yeah.
But those that start in the middle of their project, they're already experiencing the hurdles, the confusion, and everything else, losing sight as to just take a look at what you have to work with and where you're going. Yeah. And that's the answer.
Now, we talk a lot, here on the show about the key person of influence. What's the difference between your key person of influence and branding that we hear so much about?
Yeah, well, branding is really it's everything that encompasses who you are and what you're about. It's going to become more prevalent in the collaboration age than ever before, because in the information age, what we cared about is what you know. What are your criteria? What's your certification? What are your licensing? What's your diploma? What's your degree in? In the collaboration age, all we care about more is who you are. Who are you? Are you married? Are you single? Do you have kids? Are you divorced? What's your religious faith? What's your work ethic? This is the things that we're going to be doing criteria for business on. So with Key Person of Influence, our philosophy is this business is focused around the most important things that we value, which is who you are. Branding is all a part of who you are. It's everything. It's what kind of clothes you wear, whether you swear, whether you don't. All of those things encompass branding. What we do is we focus on 5 specific things that build your brand as a key person of influence.
Absolutely.
And Topher, would you just clarify the book that you're writing now or you just released is about?
Collaboration Economy is all about how do you succeed as an entrepreneur in this new age and basically take your information-based business and innovate it so it becomes a collaborative process versus an information-based process, because we're going to see a rapid decline of entrepreneurs struggling that are trying to do business the old way even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's just not going to work anymore.
How do we get your book?
Go to collaborationeconomy.com or stop by my office and steal one. Find somebody who already read it and got bored and it's sitting on their bookshelf. There's a multitude of ways to do it.
Well, definitely a great book and highly recommended here by myself at the That Business Show with Jamie Meloni. Got to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors, but if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. We'll be back in a moment.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. iMortgage Tampa appreciates and supports all veterans and their families. And as a thank you for your service, they have some unique products specifically for veterans. These programs include 100% cash out loans, renovation loans, and also a VA interest rate reduction loan. Please call them today at 813-523-4908. Again, that's 813-523-4908. Or online, search for iMortgage Tampa. iMortgage NMLS 174457. Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. Programs and eligibility subject to programs and guidelines.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
the Bright House Network's traffic center, slow traffic this morning westbound I-4 as you make your way into 275 through downtown Tampa. Also, northbound 275 from the Howard Franklin Bridge to West Shore Boulevard, you'll see some stop-and-go traffic, and southbound Veterans Expressway slow this morning as you make your way from Ehrlich Road to about Waters Avenue. Look out for an accident southbound US 19 near Northeast Coachman Road. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
There could be some scattered showers throughout the morning. Then we'll see a 50% chance of rain this afternoon and a high of 70 tonight. Windy and clearing, getting down to a low of 46. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy and breezy with a high of 65.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. This is the inaugural show, and you'll find me here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. You can also find me over my website for past shows, tampabayradio.com. I want to come back to Topher Morrison, Managing Director of Key Person of Influence. Now, there are some steps to becoming a Key Person of Influence that you promote in your program. Tell me a little bit about these steps.
Yeah, well, what we do is we focus over a 9-month period of time implementing 5 main soft skills that help people to become key people of influence. And these aren't things we've invented. You just go out and you observe people who are people of influence, and they all share these 5 things. The most important one for the listeners, I think, right now would be the importance of learning how to pitch. And there's 4 specific pitches that every business owner has got to have. The quick pitch, or a lot of people call that like the elevator pitch. The social pitch, which is the one you use at networking events when you're just meeting somebody socially, you're having a conversation, but you don't want to come across as some kind of skeevy sales guy. You got to have a nice sales pitch, a social pitch, and then you have to have a sales pitch, and then an investor pitch. So those are the 4 most important ones, the 4 levels of pitching. Out of all of those, my feeling is that the social pitch is the most important one, because if you have a great social pitch and you continue to do this social pitch all the time, then what happens is you end up creating an armada of other people who know exactly what it is that you do, and they can pitch on your behalf. But unfortunately, most entrepreneurs, if you say, what do you do? At best, you get a job description, right? You say, hey, what do you do for a living? I'm a realtor. Right, you just commoditized yourself like every other realtor out there, right? I'm a contractor.
You're
Give
right.
me something a little bit better than that, right? So pitching is a crucial thing, and in a good pitch, there's a couple of things that you got to have. Number one, you have to have some type of clarity, and that clarity usually is defined by a niche market. Nowadays, it's interesting, Ron, you were talking about your company was called General Assembly, which was probably the General Assembly? General Associates, yeah. That was a great name back in like
1967, 68.
Perfect, because back then the trends were generalists. You had to be able to satisfy all things to all people. Nowadays, you have to be the master of one. And if you sit there and say, I'm a realtor, for example, well, that's just great. You're just like everybody else. But if somebody says, what do you do for a living? You say, well, I'm a real estate agent, and I specialize in selling homes on Davis Island that are between $500,000 and $750,000. Wait. Davis Island. That would only be like one home. Davis Island. I specialize in selling homes between $2 million and $5 million. All of a sudden, now you're so specifically niched. Now I know, as a person who's not a realtor, I know exactly who I need to refer you to. I need to refer you to my wealthy friends who are looking to buy a home on Davis Island and have cash to spend at least $2 million or more. So specificity is an important issue. The second thing on top of that is you got to have credibility, because without credibility, you can be as specific as you want to in the world, but nobody's going to buy from you if they don't give you that level of credibility that you deserve. So those are 2 main things that any good social pitch has to have: massive clarity and massive credibility. And if you lack those 2 things, you're probably going to have a hard time getting anyone to give you a referral.
Yeah, and I know when I signed up for your program, which is a great program, and again, I want to take a moment to highly recommend that here at the That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, as I'm going through the Key Person of Influence program, and I've used a lot of his tools and skills to help develop this new brand of the show. And we spent a lot of time in that first day developing the pitch. And,
yeah.
I mean, you made us...
and 9 months.
And we still got 9 months to go, and you've got to write a book, and productization is coming up, and so there's a lot of components to developing your business. So if you're an entrepreneur out there that's struggling with kind of the infrastructure of your business, you got to talk to Topher Morrison over at Key Person of Influence.
Yeah, we've got a contest coming up April 30th where we haven't released any of the information on it yet, but if they go to thebigpitch.com, they can enter in their email address and we'll send them some information on it. But it's going to be a chance to get up in front of a group of about 400 entrepreneurs and investors and deliver your pitch, and the person who has the best pitch is going to win $25,000 cash.
Oh, wow. And what was the website again?
Thebigpitch.com.
Thebigpitch.com. We'll get that up on TampaBayRadio.com in the show recap section after the show. So it's sort of like a Shark Tank type of
Shark
format?
Tank, mix American Idol, that kind of thing. Yeah, where it's a contest and you can win some good money.
Wow, very impressive. So, Ron, let's come back to you. You're telling me during the break that you've also developed a product for the visually impaired?
Well, Jamie, I feel this way. I'm going on 80 years old, and if all I traded on was my past laurels of my wisdom and my knowledge, I would be an 80-year-old has-been. So I'm busy still developing, and I spoke with a very close friend of mine who was visually impaired a couple years ago, and I asked him what was on his wish list, and he said, I'd love to be able to walk into a room and know exactly what I'm working with or what I have, and identify any item. And I said, okay, let me think about that for a while. And I gave it about a week and came up with an invention of taking specialized labels, coded labels that are adhesive, paste that label on anything, develop an app to read that label, and that label will tell them exactly what they pasted it on in voice. So that's something that I'm working on now. I had it developed in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
They were a great group of people that developed it for me, and we're just about ready to go to market. So that's what I mean by if you're not empty, you don't retire.
Yeah.
And I feel at 80 years old, I'm starting all over again.
Well, you definitely have an impressive, resume of accomplishments. Now, you're also a business consultant as well. You offer your services to entrepreneurs?
Yes, I do a lot. I'm actually a strategic advisor. I do consulting for clients, and I work on retainers. I do a lot of speaking. I speak everywhere across the country and internationally, and I have clients that are international, and I usually Skype with them if I can't visit them directly. And I've been doing that, and it's very, very rewarding. I hang out with a lot of young guys like you, so it makes me feel young.
Yeah,
you and Topher.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably...
I like him. He's calling me young.
Right.
We can hang out all the time, buddy.
Yeah, I feel unaccomplished, though. I mean, you said you retired at 34, and I'm 37, and I'm still working, so I'd feel a little bit weak.
Well,
we got to pick up the pace.
Yeah, I thought I was retiring. I just stopped for a while. I just stopped for 3 months, but I got back to work again.
So your latest project is the visually impaired app, and so tell me, elaborate on this a little bit more. I want to understand this just again a little bit more.
It almost looks like little QR codes, the labels. You can buy a little stack of labels, and so there's really no investment for the blind person. And they're adhesive, and the blind person pastes that label. Let's say a prescription bottle. He just picked up his prescription from the drugstore. He'll take that label, paste it on the lid of the bottle, and then speak into his phone and tell that phone what the bottle was. And now every time he opens up his medicine chest and points his phone at that bottle, it'll take him right to that bottle and speak what the prescription is.
It's very nice.
So it could be for anything.
How soon before this product comes to market are you estimating?
I'm estimating anywhere between 30 and 60 days.
Oh, wow. So,
Right.
and then, so is this something that you're working on basically by yourself, or do you have like a team of people, or how does that work?
Well, I found an excellent team, like I say, in Portugal that worked with me, and I gave them the rights to produce it. And of course, I have the exclusivity as far as worldwide marketing rights.
Wow,
But I partnered with them.
Very impressive. And Topher, go ahead and give another quick promotion. You're going to have Ron in your Business Accelerator series tomorrow.
Yeah, if you want to come by and meet Ron, a living legend, he's going to be at the Business Accelerator series with Key Person of Influence. That's going to be at the Tampa Club tomorrow night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Honestly, I think we maybe have 2-3 tickets left.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna sell out if it's not already sold out. But it's gonna be at the top floor of the Bank of America building downtown, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Great place to network. You're gonna meet some really cool people, but most of all, you're gonna sit down and listen to Ron talk about what does it take to have an innovative mind and stay ahead in the competition. It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
And you yourself, through the Key Person of Influence program, you offer discovery sessions to entrepreneurs out there as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. What we do is this is our way of giving back to the community. So if a business owner wants to look into our Growth Accelerator program, what we do is we say we'll give them about 2.5 hours of our time, wisdom, and experience. And we'll meet with them and we'll look at their business model. We'll see where they're at, where they want to go, what's getting in the way, all of that stuff. The only thing we ask is if they want to meet with us for those 2.5 hours, which we will not charge for, we want them to make a $75 donation to the Combat Wounded Veterans Challenge.
Wow, very impressive. And to all the people out there that are thinking of starting their own business, Topher is a great starting point for developing your idea. Spend $75, come out and he'll spend an hour or two with you, and you can see if you got an idea, or he'll help you